Hi everyone, I'm Rosie and welcome back to my channel. My grandparents used to make scallion pancakes at home, and these are one of my mom's favorite foods. So, you know I better get this right. Scallion pancakes are one of the most delicious and versatile flatbreads out there. The way I make them gives you crazy flaky layers that are so thin they are translucent. But you don't have to actually use scallions. You can use chives, caramelized onions, grated cheese, or make them plain. If plain, these are more like the delicious Indian flatbread paratha. This is also a relatively quick recipe because there's no yeast, so the dough doesn't need any time to rise. Let's get started. You'll need hot water for this recipe, so I start by turning on the kettle. You can also bring half a cup of water to a boil on the stove. I have 300 grams of bread flour, or about 2 cups. I add 1 teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt and then 2 teaspoons of white sugar. I mix in half a cup of hot water and then separately a 1/4 cup of room temperature water. I usually need an extra tablespoon of room temperature water to get the dough to come together, but you might need a little more or less. The hot water starts to cook some of the gluten in the flour and helps create that authentic chewy texture. I'm using bread flour because it's the only white flour I keep on hand, but feel free to use all-purpose flour instead. Let the dough rest for 30 minutes. Yes, this is ugly duckling dough. Just let it be lumpy and bumpy for now. This is going to seem a bit fussy, but I slice the white parts of the scallion in half before chopping, so the pieces of the white parts are shaped like a C. This part of the scallion is a bit tougher and takes a bit longer to cook, so I find that cutting the stalks in half first ensures they cook in the pancake and you aren't left with any big pieces of raw scallion. Take about 1/4 of the chopped scallions and place them in a heat-proof bowl. The rest of the scallions can go in another bowl that doesn't necessarily have to be heat-proof. I'm going to make a flour oil mixture that helps create all those delicate layers. I add 3/4 of a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt and about 2 tablespoons of bread flour. You don't have to be exact with the flour. I heat up a 1/4 cup of oil in total, half of which is grapeseed oil, and the other half is toasted sesame oil. But you can use any type of vegetable oil. Once hot, carefully pour the oil into the bowl. It'll sizzle and give it a good mix. Once the dough is done resting, give it a quick knead until it's smoother and cut it into 4 pieces. Shape each piece into a ball and set aside. I'm going to be cooking them in my cast iron pan on medium-low heat, but you can use any wide, shallow pan with a lid. Once you've made all 4 balls, go back to the first one you made and roll it out till the diameter is roughly 8 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect. Spread about 2 tablespoons of the oil mixture all over the dough. You don't need to go overboard. Just a thin layer is sufficient. Then sprinkle on a generous amount of the raw scallions. Make a cut halfway and roll it into a rosette. Then smush! How cute, huh? If there's a technical term for this shaping technique, please let me know in the comments. Put it to the side and let it rest while you make the others in the same order that you made the balls so that each get some rest time. Most scallion pancake recipes don't include scallions in the oil flour mixture, but I like to add them because the hot oil brings out the scallion flavor. Why not just put all the scallions with the hot oil? When I tried this, I tended to put too much oil on the dough, so that's why I put some in the oil mixture and sprinkle the rest on top. Take the first rosette you made and roll it out. You can make these as thick or as thin as you'd like. The thinner you make them, the crispier they will be, but the thicker ones are more chewy and flaky. I make mine about 1/8 of an inch thick. I add a little bit of grapeseed oil before the very first one, but I typically don't add any more oil to the pan afterwards since there's enough oil on the pancakes. I let it cook in the covered pan for about a minute on each side, and then I flip it back and forth a few times until it's browned nicely on both sides. Now, here's the most fun part of the whole recipe. Before you take it off the pan, give it a good scrunch. This helps separate the layers for an even flakier pancake. You can also make a big batch and freeze them between sheets of parchment. When you want to make them, you don't need to defrost them first. Just cook them from frozen. These pancakes are chewy and have such wonderful flavor that you won't even need dipping sauce. They make a great standalone appetizer or side for Asian foods and curries. They also are perfect for breakfast with some eggs. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more easy cooking and baking videos, and say hi in the comments. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!